I'm going to invite a few people up here to the stage that are volunteering and serving in different ways at some of our strategic partnerships here in Cottage Grove. So I'm going to have Jeff and Shar and Linda come up. And they're going to sit on the couch and just kind of talk, and we're going to have some conversation about what God's been doing and how God's been working in their life. I've got some microphones for you guys, one for each couch, so that way, I know you don't, but for the sake of the stream, we will.
You. I have to grab you.
Just, okay. You tell me what to do, and I'll just hold you up there.
Yep.
I've got a new job description, apparently. Yes, I can. All right. Those are nice couches, aren't they? There should be a microphone somewhere between you guys. I don't know. Oh, I put it right here. Look at that. I'm very organized. Here you go. So we can start right here. And would you introduce yourself, who you are for those that don't know you, and then where you're helping out and volunteering?
Okay, I'm Shar Anderson. I work at Basic Needs, and I do volunteer at Crestview.
Awesome.
I'm Linda Hermanson, and I volunteer at Crestview in the Book Buddies program and the mentorship program.
And I'm Jeff Ogren, and I've been mentoring at Crestview the last 2 years.
My name is Linda Dagan, and I volunteer at Basic Needs Food Shelf, and I also am part of the Reading Buddies program at Crestview.
Fantastic. So for those who may not know, if you're new here, Crestview is the elementary school just up the street here. Look at that. Commanding power, right? What we might do is I might grab that mic and just share with you guys, because so Crestview is the elementary school just up the street here by Park High School on 80th, and we work with a group called Kids Hope USA, and it's just a fantastic group where we mentor students on campus, on the school property, on school time, and just get involved in their lives and walk with them through some adolescent ages and just try to speak love into their life. And I mentor over there too, and I have a student that I've had for 2 years now, and it's been just fantastic. So their last day of school is on Thursday, and he is begging me to come in on Wednesday and hang out with him. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing. You might not even be there. And he's like, doesn't matter. Can you please come and hang out with me? I was like, I'll check. We'll see. So it's been wonderful. But I've got a couple of questions for you guys, and not everybody has to answer it. You can feel free to elaborate on these questions. And when we see fit, I'll move on to the next question as well. But it's just a conversation that we want to have just to see how God's been at work in your life and how God's been working through you guys. So the first question is, where have you seen God already moving? And I'll let you guys answer that.
Well, I think just at the school, just to let us into the school, we've been very fortunate to be able to go in and to volunteer. And then I think of Dawn too, when ICE was here, she did a food distribution to a lot of the families that some of the kids didn't come into school because of ICE, and then the families didn't go out. So through Basic Needs and through some of the, we had monies too, that we bought food and we bought it into the basement here, and Dawn came and then gave that to several of the families, and that was a lot of work for her to do. So that was God working.
Tell me the question. Oh, I'm thinking, oh yeah, memory's good, it's just short. Our first year and our first half a year, like from April to May, the first year that the mentorship program was going, and then all of last year, and now all of this year. Last year we had kids moving from 5th grade into middle school. So God was moving. We came back and we had our organizational meeting upstairs for the mentors and the prayer partners, and the prayer partners are vital in our program. Each of us mentors has a very faithful prayer partner. But the question came up, what about the kids that are going to middle school? You know, might middle school let us in? And so we said, that's a matter of prayer. Well, God moved those wheels, and one of our mentors, Stephen, got to go into the middle school to continue his mentorship program with his little guy. And we're praying now. We've got 3 more 5th graders moving on, and join us in prayer if you would, please, that we'll be allowed to go in and continue the relationship building with those kids.
I kind of want to piggyback on what you said about the prayer partners, and I've had a couple. You know, they say each one has one. I asked Ted. Mary came with him. And I'm just so grateful for them. They've been very faithful, and not just the prayer, but just bouncing some ideas off of. And so I know they'll be watching, so thank you. Also, I anticipated a little more pushback from some of the staff. And I was amazed at how welcoming they were. They're grateful to see us show up. They see the difference it's making in the students' lives. To just go and spend an hour once a week with the children, reading, helping them with homework, or playing games, or just talking about life. It's kind of amazing what it is to see the transformation. The gentleman that I've been with the last 2 years, he's one of them that's in 5th grade, and he's moving on to 6th grade. He's also moving from Cottage Grove to Hastings, and a couple weeks ago, he was the one who said, "Hey, can you come with me?" And I said, we don't work in Hastings, and don't think that's going to happen, but it's kind of as much as a change, as I see it affect them, it's affected me as well. He's become part of my life in some ways. I've gotten to know a little bit about his family. We had a Thanksgiving bingo, and we sat with his grandmother and talked, and she's an interesting lady, and she was grateful, and she was also quite grateful to find out that the program was being sponsored. It's through a church. It's not a way that he doesn't normally get any sort of Christian contact outside of that mentoring program or whatever his grandmother provides, so she was extremely grateful for that availability. Boy, I could go on for a little while.
It's okay. Well, I have a little different answer to this, and of course I had to write my notes down because I'm not off-the-cuff person. But God is moving in my life to straighten my heart and my soul, and I'm trusting Him more. And I had to get to this point where I had to release all that anxiety and everything that's happened in my life. I had many, many trials. And that brought me to volunteer work. So I'm very grateful for God showing me, this is your purpose now, is to volunteer. And I see a lot of godly people out there, and I'm referring to the Basic Needs food, free food shelf. I talk with a lot of them, and there's a lot of godly people out there that you just don't see every day, you know. It's more than I thought, I think. And so I always ask them, where do you worship at? And they tell me, and I said, and they ask me where I worship, and that opens the door for me to say, I worship at Hope, right up the hill. And so those opportunities come. The doors are wide open for me to talk about Jesus and stuff.
Well, that's awesome. That's so cool to hear how God's not only working at the places you're volunteering, but also working in your life and being able to help shape you and grow you in these different ways too. So what might be one thing that surprised you when you stepped into volunteering at either Crestview or at Basic Needs?
The saddest thing, I think, is to see all the kids, the problems there are, the anxiety, different things that are going in their life. So that really surprised me, and it really is, it's sad, hurts. And what the answer is, I don't know.
Well, I've seen over the last 22+ years that I've been at Crestview, a change in the climate, in the staff. When I first got there, they were a little standoffish, and they were, good morning. And now, end of 2 years, you know, they're all, howdy, how are you? How'd it go today? And oh, thanks for those great treats that are in our lounge. And they just, like Lori has said, we can't go in and preach, but the aura of Jesus goes with us, and it permeates that building, and for that I'm thankful.
Well, being that some of you started before me, maybe you helped soften them up, because I was surprised that there wasn't the pushback I'd mentioned earlier. So, like I said, there may have been some little apprehension prior to my being part of it. And I was also surprised at how attached I got to particularly the student, but a couple of staff members. I didn't expect to be, I kind of expected I would show up, I would spend an hour, but well, what's an hour? It was much more impactful to myself than I anticipated. That's probably what surprised me the most.
That I love kindergartners. I've been so blessed by their willing to read with me, and some of them see me in the store and they want to introduce their mommy, or trunk or treat. There was a little girl that came and she goes, "Mom, this is the lady that reads to me every day, you know, on Wednesdays," and she, you know, introduced me to her siblings and stuff, and they always say, "This is Miss Linda, Miss Linda, Miss Linda." So that's what surprised me the most, I think, is that I love kindergartners. I got to go on a field trip with them and stuff, so.
I think one of the fun things too about Crestview is I coach football and basketball for 5th grade and 4th grade, whatever, when my kids were growing up in it. And like half of my basketball team goes to Crestview. So when I'm standing in the lobby waiting for my student to go get his lunch and stuff, most of my basketball kids are coming by and they're like, Coach, how's it going? It's so good to see you. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, I've got like 10 kids all coming over to me, and the teachers are kind of looking at me. I'm like, they're all on basketball or football and whatever else. And they're like, oh, okay. Really? And they're like, no, he's the best coach ever. He lets us run. And I'm like, Coach T, they all love to run. So make sure when they get into high school, you run these kids hard. So, yeah, until they get to high school. Then they're like, running. But that's just been so fun to see the relationships that have been built through Crestview and through Basic Needs. So the next question moving into it is, what has this taught you about people? Or actually, yeah, there we go. What has this taught you about people serving at Crestview or Basic Needs?
It's a good question. I guess that people are really willing to help. I guess that's it. You know, people are willing. I guess that's all I can say. If you ask them, they're willing to do it. You just have to maybe give them an opportunity to do it, and that's what you all should be doing, is in volunteering, because it's wonderful.
I guess I've seen the people and the parents had, yes, we had a surprise encounter with my students' parents. And I hadn't seen, I'd only met the dad and not seen the mom at all, but Patty and I were out, and I thought, I know that smile. And I hadn't seen him since the previous year, and then it was only for a half hour, 45 minutes, as Stephen and I took some Thanksgiving baskets over to them. I know that smile. And come to find out, yes, and got to learn a little bit more about the family in an informal basis. But he mentioned, he said, you know, my kids were really hesitant about wanting to do this mentorship thing. And he said, but I am so thankful, because now both of my kids want to go to school. So people can change. I'm sure the parents had kind of apprehension when the program first started, like, who are these people and how can I trust them? And the Lord has just caused changes in the families, I believe. So.
I guess I'd have to say, knowing the background of some of these children, particularly the one I've been with and Jason, they happen to be brothers. Knowing their background, I'd have to say resiliency. Some of these kids have been hit hard, and they seem to take it well. There's the hurt. There's damage in them, whether it's emotional or mental or whatever it is, but at the same time, you could see the healing. There's a resiliency in people. We just have to be, I don't know how the best way to put it. I guess that's what I learned the most.
I'm going to talk about the free food store. So I see people that are generally grateful for the work that we do there. People are struggling, everyday people that work hard, they work, and it's not necessarily that they're poor, but they just can't make the dollar stretch. And so through the food rescue program, we're able to fill their bellies, and, they're very grateful for that. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a winning cause that we do at the basic needs.
Fantastic. Yeah, my student constantly is teaching me new languages. Kids speak like Gen Z and Gen Alpha talk all the time, and so I'm like, what are you even saying? And he's just rattling it off, and I'm like, I feel so old all of a sudden. Like, I used to know all this stuff, and now I don't. So it's just kind of fun to see when the younger generation is working with older generations and vice versa, to see how we can come together and talk about things. Like, all of the students at Crestview are like, we want e-bikes, and e-bikes are like the biggest thing that everybody wants. And since I'm a police chaplain and I hang with the cops all the time, the kids know, like, oh, let's talk to him about our e-bike and what we want and how we could get out of trouble if we say, oh, we know who Mark is. And I'm like, nope. That will get you in more trouble, because they know that I'm telling you guys what to do and what not to do. So it's just been fun to see their thought processes, how it'll bounce from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's just kind of crazy when you really think about it, how much they can take in and what they choose to take in and learn from. So it's a great opportunity to try to teach them who God is and what love is like. So the final question I have for you guys is, how has serving changed you in particular? We've kind of heard a few of those stories, but how has serving changed you in your life?
Well, I'm a slam bam thank you ma'am girl. I get things done immediately and don't goof around. So it's really caused me to slow down. And to, there's a reason maybe kids are goofing around, or maybe people are acting weird. Maybe there's a reason. So don't judge, but take time to think and maybe think into what's going on with their life. So I think it just slowed me down, and maybe have a little more empathy and not be so judgmental. I know that's a no-no, so I'm trying not to do that.
Well, some of you know that I taught kindergarten for a bazillion and a half years, but it was 20 years ago, and things have changed. And but just getting back into the school system, and like I taught kindergarten, but now I started out with a third grader, fourth grade, and they're totally different animals. They just are. And it is. It has just given me a new appreciation for that age level teacher, and but I just, like Jeff said, I didn't know I was going to get so attached.
I think it's helped me to understand my children better. seeing some other, again, most of my time was spent with this one particular child, but while I was waiting for him, or seeing kids running in out of a nurse's office or running up and down the halls, just seeing the way other children behave as well. I think it's helped me to understand my own children better than I had previously, and it's also probably changed the way I treat my children. I'm still fairly strict, Jeremiah. You're not getting off easier, but well, maybe a little. I don't know, it's just helped me to see people a little different, to see that people are dealing with different struggles than I've had and have had to overcome them in different fashions. And to understand that I maybe need to be more patient with people, and to understand that they are dealing with struggles that I have not. And they may not have the best coping mechanisms, and again, it is a very difficult thing for me. I'm not always a very patient person, but I can see where I need to change, and I believe I have some, although, yeah, probably not as fast as I should.
Well, I've already revealed that God told me to volunteer. That was my purpose in life right now. And so I've been a little bit less shy and more outgoing. I love serving at both places, and each for their unique experiences. And I look forward to next year doing the same with Crestview Reading Buddies. It's been good therapy for me as I navigate my life going forward.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So here's what I want everyone to sit in. God is at work here in Cottage Grove, whether it's in the halls of Crestview, in the community rooms where families from basic needs gather, in your neighborhood, at your kids' school. He was here even before we got here. He's been here long before us, and he will stay here long after we've moved on. And he's inviting us to join in the work that he's doing. And like we said here at Hope, we believe that every person was created on purpose for a purpose. So this means that your Tuesday mornings matter. I should have rewrote that your Monday mornings matter, because Monday mornings are the absolute worst. But they absolutely matter, because we have conversations with people. The conversations in the school drop-off lines with your kids or with the people who are there, your willingness to notice people, all of that matters for eternity. One of the things we also like to say here is we're not afraid to go to the hard places when life gets messy. So one conversation at a time, bringing the gospel into places that it might not get to normally. One of the other things I want to kind of present to you is that we need to stop waiting for a future call while ignoring our present opportunities. And some of us might be feeling that stirring, saying, oh, maybe I want to get involved with Crestview or Basic Needs, or Envision reached out, and they're up in Minneapolis in the downtown area, and they keep saying, hey, we have soccer camps going on, and we need people to help out with those. We need people who can come up and just hang out with the kids. They don't even need to learn how to play soccer or be good at soccer. And I was like, cool, less of a chance for me to get injured. But it's one of those things where there's always opportunities to be able to serve the Lord. And when people we get this idea of like, oh, that's good for other people, and God can use each and every one of us, because each and every one of us are uniquely gifted to be able to impact people. And so the missions field isn't just somewhere where we fly to. It's a place where we already are. It's right here. So this week I have a couple of challenges for you. These are going to be the same challenge every single week in this series. So spoiler alert, if you take a picture of this now, you don't have to take a picture next week or the week after. Just review it, because it's going to be the same each and every week of this series. But read through Romans 12 this week. Read through just this one chapter, and don't rush through it. Sit in it. Read the whole chapter over the next course of this week, even if it's only a few verses a day, and let the words settle into your heart, not just pass through your mind. Again, we talked about this in our last series on how to study the Bible. Transformation doesn't usually happen in a moment. It happens through repeated exposure to God's truth. So read through Romans 12 this week. Ask God one honest question. As you read, pause and ask, God, where are you speaking to me in the here and now? Not, what does this mean for somebody else? Not how can I use this in a conversation, but ask, God, what are you trying to form in me? Listen for conviction, encouragement, correction, or an invitation from the Holy Spirit on what God wants you to do. And the third one, and I'll get there in just a second here. I knew I flew through that one. Some people might be wanting to still take that picture. Third one, intentionally notice one person. So this week, slow down enough to truly see someone. It could be a coworker, a neighbor, could be your spouse, a cashier, a friend who seems pretty tired. Notice them, not to fix them, not to save them, not to impress them, but just to listen to them, just to notice them, encourage them, and be present with them. When we read through Romans 12, it talked about that genuinely love people around you. Or in the original, let love be without hypocrisy. Oftentimes we just kind of fly through those moments where we can interact with people. My favorite is the cashiers. I love going to Menards early. Our joke in our house is it's not a project at home unless there's 2 Menards trips. Anybody else like that? Because I feel like I've paid the salary for the manager at Menards year after year because it just seems like I'm always there. And the cashiers there are real people. And they want to have interaction with you. And if not, they'll let you know. But most of the time when you ask how they're doing, they'll tell you really how they're doing. Because they know it's just a transactional relationship. I'm just going to scan through all your stuff, and then you're going to leave, and maybe won't see you until 3 hours later when you need a new toilet flange. Or whatever it might be. But really notice people and care about them. And it will brighten up their day. It's amazing how that works. So those are the 3 challenges for you. And remember, God is at work all around us. And he's calling us into relationship with him and building relationship with the people around us. So this week, be praying and be thinking about ways maybe to step into volunteering. Or maybe to get connected with one of our strategic partners, or to be praying for those partnerships, whether that be at Crestview or at Basic Needs or with Envision or with the family that we sponsor and have helped send onto the missions field through the Alliance. Be praying, be seeking what God wants you to do this week. And I'm excited to see how, as we focus on loving the people around us, what God's going to continue to do here at Hope Community Church and in the community because of the obedience of his people to go out and to love people. God, I'm just so grateful for who you are, for how you love us and how you love the people around us, how you love your creation. God, when you created the earth and you created Adam and Eve and you said it was very good. People are your creation. They're made in your image. And just because we sin and because some of our friends or the people around us might not be amazing people, they are still made in your image. And they still matter to you. So God, may we see people the way you do. As someone who is made in your image, who needs love, who needs compassion, who needs help. But most importantly, they need a relationship with you. God, when you enter into our life, when you give us the Holy Spirit, you lead us, you teach us, you guide us. You show us where to move, what to say. And it's amazing when we lay down our life and we say, God, use me. God, teach me how you shape us and you form us into the people you want us to be. But then we start having those relationships and we can see life change in the people around us. God, help us to advance your kingdom. Not to be known as the church that's reaching out to our community just because it builds us up and we look good or we get more people to come to our church building and be a part of our family, but because we want to be obedient to your call on our life. Help us to not see the church as this building that you've amazingly provided for us, but as the people around us walking through life who desperately need to hear about you. God, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for what you're doing and what you've already been doing and what you're going to continue to do as we really highlight this and be obedient to what you've called us to do in our lives. So God, we love you. We thank you. We give you all of the praise and all of the glory because you're the only one that is worthy of it. In your powerful and holy name, amen. Well, thank you for joining us here at Hope Community Church this week. We hope to see you again next week, and there probably won't be couches on stage next week, so it'll be okay. Or we'll have the couches up there, and we'll just randomly call people up. That could be fun, too. So If not, have a great day, and we'll see you next week. You are dismissed.